Hello, everybody. So we're gonna present you today BizArTech, or how business, art, and technology join together to innovate on specific challenges. And as an introduction, I wanted to say that what has been succeeded in this process, innovation process, is to take three different challenges that were very important to us. The first was to tell how to make data understandable for the people, for the citizens, and how can we make it tangible? How can we make it visible? So that was the first challenge. The other challenge is how to use data to change behavior, and especially when we're talking about climate change and energy consumption, resource saving, and how can we use the data we have on energy to change behaviors. And the third challenge was also how can we innovate further and differently using arts. And in Lyon, we have a very long tradition of digital arts, and especially in terms of light. We have a lot of festivals. And so we have a lot of competencies also in Lyon we can use for the expertise in digital tools and creativity. And so we have, I just wanted to show you a Festival of Light, which is using different digital artists as well, and it's a 150 years old tradition in Lyon, and it's gathering like 3 million people every day. And you still can go there because it will be in 2 weeks' time, from 5th to 8th December. We have also on digital music and electronic music a large festival such as the Nuit Sonore, which happen every year in May, with over 150 people coming every year. And another festival, which is Mirage Festival on digital arts. And that's with this partner that we worked on BizArTech. So from now, like how with making it also the business, art, and technology, how did you succeed to answer through this collaborative innovation process? How did you succeed to meet all these challenges and to give an answer to us? So first, maybe you can give a word to who you are. And so Mathilde from the TUBA.
Is this working? Yes? Okay. I'm Mathilde, working at TUBA. TUBA is an organization based in Lyon. It's an open space dedicated to urban innovation. It's a 5-year project. And we help companies and public sector to work together and to think about what will be good or not for the future, and to think together as a big family, really, in Lyon.
And Anthony, so you're a project manager at ERASME, our urban lab. Can you tell us more about that?
So ERASME is an open innovation lab of METROPOLE of Lyon. It's a public service dedicated to foresight, technological watch, and also design of uses and prototyping of new digital services. Our goal is to see how can we stimulate a new digital project to answer public issues. So how can we use emerging technologies such as AI, big data, etc., to answer education issues, security issues, etc.
And Damien, so you're a smart grid manager or project leader in ENEDIS, our energy provider. So what are you doing in the BizArTech?
So ENEDIS is the network operator, so we operate the electric grid for most of continental France. So as you're saying, I'm a smart grid project manager, and what's interesting for us is that in the digital era, we are deploying still in France, and we finished in Lyon 2 years ago, the communicating meter, so smart meters for people to understand their energy consumption. And it was very important to us to work with other types of competencies that are in TUBA, ERASME, and with the artist, to make people understand how to use this information and really kind of feel energy. So we're going to talk about that more in the project, but that was our main interest, is working with other types of companies and associations to get citizens involved in the energy transition.
Here today because they are working on making the Mirage Festival happen soon, so they could not make it here today. Mirage Festival, as said Emily, is a quite young festival dedicated to digital art, and they help us to approach the artists, to work with them, to understand what they need to create maybe more closely with people and companies.
So now we're all thrilled to know more about what is BizArTech. So Mathilde, do you want us to give the story of this first edition of BizArTech?
Yes. So as you already understand now, I guess BizArTech is the meeting between business, art, and technology. And we decided for the first edition to focus on energy transition. Energy transition was a good thematic for us to explore because that is a big matter. It concerns everyone. It's a big topic for our partners, private partners. It's the strategy of Lyon METROPOLE also. They have conduct huge strategy energy studies over the years. And as we decided to work with the artists, one thing that was easy maybe to do with the artists is to make something invisible more visible. So we thought, why not use the energy, which is invisible, which is difficult to understand, and ask the artists to help us to make it visible. So it was a long time process, over 1.5 years, to meet with the right partnership, with the right stakeholders, to understand, let me show you, to understand what are the needs, not just the needs of the private and the public, the private companies and the public sectors, but also the needs of the citizen, of you, me, of us. So we went to the street and we asked people, what is energy? What means to you energy? And what was really interesting, was that for a lot of people, energy is not directly linked to consumption, production, to, I don't know, solar or gas or electricity. The people, they told us that for them, energy could come from the body, from the food, from the social network, from the family, and everyone has a different vision of what is energy and why do you need energy to wake up in the morning and to go to work and to live and be happy. So we went to the street to ask these people, and we also work with sociologists, people, to better understand what does it mean energy for them. So 1 year ago, at this specific event, CIDO, it's a kind of smart expo, World Expo, but smaller, in Lyon, dedicated to technology and IoT. So it's full of companies, startups, so private sector, for a 2 days event. And we say, why not go to this kind of professional private event with some artists, with the idea in mind, and to ask them, to propose them, why not working together? So that was the first step, the launch 1 year ago. Then we had several meetings with our partners, so meaning a big company like energy providers, Lyon METROPOLE, and some local association working with people to produce energy or to think differently about energy. We did also focus group. This is at TUBA and our place in Lyon, and we thought, okay, energy transition. Sorry, it's quite huge as a topic. That will take years to really work on this transition energy. So why not focus on just 4 specific challenges? So we had these 4 specific challenges that Anthony is going to show you, to present you. And we really met all of these people, all of these 20 different stakeholders for 3 days, what we call design sprint challenge, design challenge, and we succeed to create together some answer to these 4 challenges.
Before everything, let's see just a short video to see our participants producing the artistic installations. So, during 3 days, our participants had to realize an artistic installation using data related to energy. 3 days is very short. And at the end, the installation have to be shown to a huge panel of citizens, of employees of the Metropole, and employees of other partners. So it's short, but they did it. They meet these challenges. And for each challenge, one team was created, one team, multidisciplinary team with different profiles. From tech profiles, such as engineers, data masters, or designers, to art profiles, artists, such as art maker or art creators. In the team, there were musicians, there were photographers, video maker, etc. So you can see there is a huge panel of producers, and also a traveler, so that someone had traveled during a huge amount of time in another city to see how in other places in the world energy is represented. So in each team we have to answer one question. In the first team I will present you, the question was, does knowing the availability of our resources help us to preserve them? To do that, our 6 participants realized a prototype using pictures. Why pictures? If you want to sensitize people about how to preserve energy, you have to talk to them with local data on media they knew. That's why we choose pictures of landscapes all around Lyon. All these photos are geolocalized, and we use the geolocalization to get the data about energy consumption and energy production of where the photo was taken. Then, we will transform this picture depending on the energy production or consumption. For example, if the gas consumption is high, we will blur the picture. If the electricity consumption is high, we will do another transformation on the picture. And so, at the end of the process, if your picture is exactly the same at the beginning, that's positive. That means the energy balance of the territory where you took the picture is positive. But at the opposite, if you have something like that, that is kind of an abstract picture, that means the energy balance is very negative. So through an innocent picture you can take, for example, I can take a picture here in Barcelona and put this picture on the dispositive. It will show me what is hide behind the picture and what is the energy balance of this place.
Thank you. So the second team worked on quite difficult challenge, how to make the path of energy from production to consumption transparent, visible. So that was actually quite a challenge for the team over there, composed by one person from the gas provider, the French gas provider GRDF, designer, one artist which is who is a photographer, one who is a kind of how can I say that, doing gaming, doing this kind of technology, and another designer. And they realized that to understand what could be the production, the consumption of energy, which is important to know, it's that we are all, as we said in French, dans le même bateau, in the same boat. We are all involved in this climate change, this energy transition, and we need to answer to the question, to the challenge together. So they really made the step aside from the challenge, but that's also one of the rules. You don't have necessarily to answer specifically to the first challenge that we ask. So they decided to create a game where you literally go aboard to the boat, and together with your team of people that you don't know, but you're on the same boat, so you may know them fast. And you will have to answer to questions related to, I don't know, we can imagine I am on a boat and someone is sick, really sick. What do we do with this guy? We just throw the guys away. So we don't spend time taking care of him or buying medicine or I don't know what. Or we decided to keep the guy and 2 people will go and provide medicine, or what do we do in this kind of situation? So they really play with this idea of what could be the transition energy if we are all in the same boat. So it's gaming, using gaming to better understand what could be the challenge that we are going to face. Third one.
Another challenge about our expenses, how to be responsible for our daily energy consumption. Once again, we have a very multidisciplinary team that allows us to emerge new vision, totally unexpected project, as we saw the first 2 ones. And here, the surrounding question is, how can I see first my daily energy consumption? This is quite an unusual topic. So they decided, this team, to create a different dispositive that answer another question. How can I hear my daily energy consumptions? Here, it's more intriguing for it separates our people, and they created a wall where you can interact with. You can turn on the light, turn off the light. You can increase the heating or decrease it. You can turn off the water, etc., etc. Exactly as if you were at home. The main difference is that behind this wall there is a music, and depending on your action, this music will change. If you are doing the good things to reduce your water consumption or your energy consumptions, the music will become more relaxing. At the opposite, if you are doing the wrong things, the music will become disturbing, stressful.
A nightmare.
A nightmare, absolutely. And this project is especially dedicated for children to make them understand what are the good things to do if they want to reduce their impact with their energy. And there is one last project. Let Damien present it.
So we had an artistic view on the different senses and how we can feel energy. So we go one step further and we'll dive in the fourth solution or fourth interpretation that has been produced, and that's the breeze of energy.
Exactly. Yes, so just one quick word on the team. So we were mixed with designers, art makers, that was, as Anthony was saying, and the data that was, the project that was actually provided, we call it les énergies affleurantes, and in English it would be the breath of energy, is saying one can usually see data visualizations or great dashboards of their energy consumption, but how could we really feel energy? And so the whole idea was to provide a mobile device, which unfortunately we weren't able to bring here because it wasn't suitable, let's say, for the exposition. But the idea is to put your hand over different ventilators, and depending on the energy consumption given at a 10-minute pace, you would, of a district, a real district in Lyon Confluence, you could actually feel the different variations of energy consumptions throughout lots of buildings and districts. So it's all aggregated data, no personal information, but just to feel how the city evolves. I just wanted to make a focus on ENEDIS and what actually my company does. So we're the distribution system operator. So we manage, operate, and maintain the electric grid. And in France, we are also the one who is in charge of measuring the energy consumption in different areas with the communicating meters that we call Linky. So it was a real opportunity. And so we don't sell electricity. We're a public service mission. Our goal is to always maintain a high quality of electricity service. And our new role with the energy transition is also becoming a data provider, first for all of the customers and clients. Today, if you go to France and you're equipped with a communicating meter, you can actually have your personal dashboard, which is only available for you to know how much energy you consume every day. And so that's why we're in the distribution part. So to that said, I just want to talk about a little how we were inspired when we were talking about, given the survey that was done with TUBA and the discussions with the artist, we were asked to project ourselves in the future. What's going to be the energy future? And that gave us ideas on a more sustainable development, natural elements such as wind, where you can feel, why not the heat of feeling the heat on someone's skin on a sunny day. And we went more into the wind, which was inspired by, let's say, other cultures, more oriental. Here you have a Tibet. That was something that we were thinking about. We have some sculptures that were made that the artist knew to kind of show how wind can make motion. So as you know, wind turbines can produce electricity. It's also something that you can move. And what you can see also there, and the artist found it was beautiful, is wind maps. Mapping of the wind forecasts that are given for the next day. If any of you are kite surfers or you like doing paragliding, it's something that you would usually consult. And so it's also historical and very personal. Civilizations have tried to represent this energy that you can feel through different forms, and we wanted to go in that way. We had to use data, and for that, ENEDIS provides open data, such as gas and other fluids. And here we focused on the Confluence district. So Confluence can be separated. It's an almost island, a sort of peninsula that you can find in Lyon, which is between two rivers, the Rhône and the Saône. I don't know if any of you have been to Lyon or have been there, if you can visualize, but here you have a map. And so we can separate Confluence into 9 sub-districts, 9 zones where you can find the different figures. And for that, we have annual consumption levels of energy for these sub-districts. So it's all anonymized data, no personal information. And we were testing in Confluence a new data service, which is to estimate electricity production in and consumption in a certain region, in a certain district. And so this one was for Confluence. So if you go onto internet on the website, you can actually see the estimations every 10 minutes of what is going to be consumed and produced in Confluence. As you can see, there is some production, and that's because there's a lot of solar panels in Confluence. It's 2 megawatts, which is pretty important for an urban area to have so much solar introduced. And so the idea of saying, okay, we know how to visualize them, we know how to show these type of graph, let's try to see if we can actually feel energy. And the idea is saying, how does a district really live? Kind of like the heart, you have a heartbeat. What would be the breath of energy? So we decided to use technology and do some automation with wind fans. So actually it's a very low-tech solution. It's only a prototype for a 3-day sprint. And so we were controlling wind fans, 9 wind fans, which represent the 9 sub-districts. Tried to do some decoration. So this is a box to protect the wind fans so people can put their hands on top. And with the designers that helped design this and the art makers who are actually controlling each fan using the data that was directly used, we together built this this project. You can also see a microphone on the right, and the idea was also to hear the intensity, because when you feel sometimes more wind speed and less wind speed, it's one way of feeling energy, but we also wanted to enhance the sound. So you would go into a black space, very dark, so that all the ambient noise and everything was very concentrated finally on this machine. So you would at the same time feel energy and also hear different districts vary depending on their energy consumption. Here's a short video. Fans are really independent. And of course, since it's in a feeling experiment, it doesn't do the same thing on video, but the whole idea is really when you move your hand, you would see the different energy consumptions. We have a big mall, for example, there with some residential, some also companies, and they don't consume energy at the same time with the same intensity. So that's really a new experience that we want to make to feel the energy. So here you have some short, you can see the different team members and kind of their vision of finally the poetic aspects that we wanted to show by saying that what was invisible now can actually become a sensory experience. That was the idea. And finally, the flows of wind, when you put your hand, it's almost like you're imagining the 3D of the different energy consumption. So that was something that we wanted to see. And one of the ideas maybe to maybe feel tomorrow's energy. That could be another way of giving more perspectives to the project. So what's next?
What's next? That's a good question, and we can also have need you to answer to this question. What's next? So you saw we had 4 prototypes, 4 nice hard production to come, but what we wanted to know if it's nice to meet, it's nice to be together, to work in a different way. We had great times, but what does it change? What will be the impact of all of this stuff? You know, this collaborative innovation, this challenge, how design could impact everything. What are the impacts? So we tried to categorize the 4 prototypes by this, you can see with the colors, what are the levers for change. So this hard production will make the topic understandable, will provide to any kind of people an experience, live something. Is it a collective act, or does it make me experiment in another way? And we try also to see what kind of technology it's using, and what kind of cultural aspect it's also touching. And we want to analyze what could be behind the public, what kind of people could be really interested by this kind of art, new kind of art, and how we could develop the prototype to concrete, not solution, we cannot talk about service or solution, but concrete art installation to maybe show to more people during the next festival at Mirage Festival coming soon. But of course, when you go to this kind of festival, you touch only a few part of the population, people that are already sensibilized to digital and this kind of art. So maybe we could go to the public, to the private event like CIDO, like this IoT nice companies meeting, but we will touch only the professional, the engineers, the people that are maybe already aware of what is data, what is energy transition. So we could go to a bigger event, like the Light Festival, coming in 2 weeks in Lyon. You can still book your flight or train, it's better. It's really better to book the train and come to Lyon and see this year, maybe not the BizArTech exhibition, but maybe next year, let's hope. And in that way to imagine if next year we have some pictures that you described, the picture with the energy consumption behind, over this wall. So a lot, like millions of people will see something like really impacting, and people will be also at their side to explain what is it. And the next challenge for us is also, could we reproduce this kind of project to make visible other topic, other challenge, like cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a threat, but we don't really know how does it look? What is cybersecurity? So why not also work with these artists and partners to make it visible? And on the other side, you have the West challenge. That's something maybe you want to make a bit more invisible. So we are willing to talk with you about if this kind of approach could be reproduced with you in your city, in your country, in your region, with your company, and what could be the next step for us to talk about this new way of working together. Thank you for listening to us today.
Thank you for you too. So do you have any question on how it happened or ideas on how it can be deployed? Maybe we can say that we have a booth on LYON, and we're still this afternoon there, so we'll be very happy to talk to you. So in the other hall, the booth is number, I will tell you,
403.
403.
Yeah.
And so we'll be very happy to meet you there and discuss more maybe about this topic over there.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For staying here the whole time.